It's summertime, and I know that some of us, we are always scared to take off our shoes because they do smell a little bit in summertime. But don't sweat it, pun intended. There's a couple of easy things that you can do to make your shoes smell great. The number one tip is to rotate your shoes. And that means that you should never use the same shoe for more than one day in a row. Because the thing is that during the day, we sweat a lot. Your shoes absorb all of this moisture. And this moist environment in your shoes creates the perfect environment for bacteria, for smells. And it's exactly the reason why your shoes start to smell bad. And that's why on the bare minimum, you always want to have at least 2 shoes for summertime and at least 2 shoes for wintertime. And that brings me to the next tip, because one thing that you always want to use after a day of wearing your shoes is a shoe tree. And this has been a huge game changer in my life. I mean, of course, most of us know what shoe trees are, but I didn't know that there are different kinds of shoe trees. Because there are plastic ones, there are the shiny wood ones, and there's cedar wood. And the only thing that really helps you with the smell is the cedar wood, because they basically have 3 main benefits. First, they help to dry out the shoe a little bit, so they absorb some of the moisture. Secondly, because they are firm in place and they absorb the moisture at the same time, they help to prevent your shoes from starting to curve in the front and also prevent any wrinkles from forming. And the third part is that the cedar wood actually smells fantastic, and it actually transfers some of that smell onto your shoes. So after you had your shoe trees overnight, your shoes will smell fantastic the next day. So just make it a habit. Every time you come home after a day of work, just put in your shoe trees right away. It will help protect your shoes. They will look better for a longer time and they will smell great. Now at some point you will notice that the shoe trees start to lose a little bit of their smell, but in that case just get some sandpaper, use it on top a little bit, and the smell will be back. The next tip is to always wear socks. And this seems like an obvious one, but in summertime you actually see a lot of people going barefoot in their shoes, and this is really bad for the smell of your shoes. So you always want to have socks. In summertime there are different types of no-show socks that you can use. They're still very classy. You don't see that you're wearing socks, but there is an additional protective layer in between your feet and the shoes. It also helps to absorb some of that moisture. And the next tip is to use cork, cedar or leather insoles. And they have 2 benefits. They give some additional smell, they absorb some of the moisture, and also they help to protect the inner sole inside the shoe. Because when you walk around a lot, you will notice that the sole in your shoe starts to get worn out after a while, and that's really difficult and expensive to replace. But the insoles are very cheap. You get them for around $10 to $20. It's a lot cheaper to replace your insoles every couple of months than the real insole inside the shoes. And finally, you can also use some baking soda or some baby powder. I only use it in sneakers or in gym shoes, and it works fantastic. You just sprinkle a little bit of baking powder in your shoes, you just spread it around, you leave it overnight, the next day you shake them out and they smell fantastic. If you have any other tips to make your shoes smell great, let us know in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe to the channel, and see you next time.